What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we have a showcase video for the brand new Sugo Fest exclusive Super Revolution for Monkey D. Garp, which is a pretty awesome unit. I did talk about him briefly in a video a couple of days ago before his release, but now that we actually have him in game to play around with him, he is awesome, and we're going to be showing off some of the things that he can do in this video today. Now, he's not going to be like your go-to captain for sure. He's probably going to see a lot more play, definitely as a crewmate compared to being used as a captain, because his special is so good, and it's just nice that they've given him an updated captain effect, which was definitely needed for this unit when he was in his regular 6-star form. But of course, before we get into the showcase video, let's go ahead and talk about him. So Garp is a Psi Free Spirit powerhouse. His captain effect is going to boost your crew's attack by 3 times and then give them a 1.5 HP boost, and then also make their Psi in recovery slots count as beneficial. And then after hitting Good, Great, Perfect in that order, you get a 4.5 times boost to your whole team as well. So that's a pretty awesome unit, obviously, overall. His captain effect is a lot better than what his original 6-star form was. It's still not amazing, because hitting Good, Great, Perfect in 2020 isn't really something that's super ideal, but at least they've given him a pretty high multiplier to compensate for that, and also a pretty decent amount of matching slots, and a 1.5 health boost is no slouch either. That's very, very good. Now, as for his special ability, 14 turn max cooldown, but it is multi-staged. Stage 1 is a 10% health cut, 3.25 chain lock, and then 3 turns of special bind reduction. And then stage 2 at 14 turns is a 30% HP cut, and both of the HP cuts also go through defensive effects, by the way. But then, you know, obviously with stage 2, it's still a 3.25 chain lock and 7 turns of special bind reduction. So freaking awesome, right? And, you know, just looking at 8 turn cooldown for a 3.25 chain lock is pretty awesome, honestly. I must say, he's a pretty cool unit overall. And obviously, as a sailor, he also resists 20 turns of special bind on himself. I don't really understand why they just didn't make him completely resistant. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then also boosting your crew's base stats as well. He has a pretty interesting support effect as well. So he attaches to Kobe, Helmeppo, and Kuzan. And then anytime you're inflicted with special bind, he resists 3 turns of it for your whole team. Pretty good support effect, I might add. So overall, Garp, as I said, he's a nice buff, but he's not going to be your go-to captain. And unfortunately, in Pirate Rumble, he's not really the best either, so it would have been nice if they would have given him something a little bit different in Pirate Rumble, but I must say his sprite and his artwork look really awesome. But anyways, now that we've gone through that, let's go ahead and get into the showcase video for Super Evolution Garp. Alright, so first thing is first, we're going to be up against Clash Ace, which I would say is one of the more difficult-ish raids. Obviously, though, if you have Quick Bid, it does make things a lot easier. And one of the really cool things about Garp, though, is that he is both Free Spirit and Powerhouse, and both of those classes in particular are like some of the best classes in the game for generic play. Free Spirit, I mean, they're okay in Rumble, and Powerhouse, they're also pretty good in Rumble as well, but like it's nice that Garp actually has some pretty nice, you know, classes, obviously. Though, I will say, it would have been nicer if he was like one of like fighter, shooter, slash a striker, and then the other one be like Powerhouse or Free Spirit, because then you could utilize like V3 Law, for example, for like really cool orb boosting stuff. But the fact that Garp is a Free Spirit Powerhouse, you don't get the orb boost from V3 Law, for example. But that's nitpicking at the highest order. But of course, you're not really going to be using him as a captain anyway. We did also touch up on that a little earlier. And then I didn't actually check the ambush schedule before heading into this raid, but the ambush that actually follows this is Whitebeard, which is the easiest of the ambush raids. So of course that's going to be in this clip here, where we just go in and take on Whitebeard. Very, very easy, of course. In 2020, you know, when he first came out, ambush Whitebeard was so hard because of like all the different things you had to take note of, and yeah, it was a pain. But luckily nowadays, you know, stuff like that isn't really that bad. It does kind of suck that free-to-play ambush Whitebeard is not very good. Really wish we get a better free-to-play Whitebeard in the future. But actually, interestingly enough, another character on this team shares the exact same classes as Garp as well. That's Sobermask, dude. Sobermask is just a freaking beast, and he works well on so many teams, man. I mean, and this is the thing as well, is that Garp is a rainbow captain at heart. You know, you can run whatever you want, and then Psi, Int, and Recovery are beneficial. Like, that is just really nice to have. But obviously, the big problem there is you have to hit Good, Great, Perfect in order for you to reach that 4.5 multiplier, which isn't always super ideal. But luckily, you know, when you launch his special ability in the same turn that you're doing your good, great, perfect, it is not too bad, of course, because your chain multiplier typically when you hit good, great, perfect is going to be minimized. But having a 3.25 chain lock, which is actually buffed from his original version, his 6-star form was only a 3 times chain lock, and it only removed 3 turns of special bind, whereas now it's 3.25 and also 7 turns of special bind. So this is going to be a really nice unit to have in the future. I'm not really 100% sure if like one of the upcoming treasure map units or the treasure map bosses has like 7 turns of special bind or something like that, but you know, just note that if you get significant special bind, that this may be a character you may want to look out for because he is really, really good. Now, the next clip after this is pretty awesome because we're going to be up against Coliseum King. Now, this particular team doesn't really showcase Garp all that much. It's mainly just utilizing the really powerful effects of one in particular Sugo Fest exclusive, which is going to be V2 Doflamingo. I did actually use him in one of my original teams in the original upload against Coliseum King, where I built a Blackbeard team where it did lots of damage towards Jack on the stage 4, and then we carry all of that overkill damage into Doflamingo special for the final stage, and that's the exact same thing that we're doing here. The only problem is that with this team, we didn't fully kill King on the final stage, but he had hardly any HP left, so we did essentially one-shot him. I'm not really too sure. I think I actually screwed up my tap timings on the Jack stage, so if I hit my tap timings correctly, I'm pretty sure I would have been able to reach the max potential damage that I would have been able to get, but you know, I digress. It's still fine. We're still able to do it, which is awesome. But, you know, a character like this, honestly, even though he got a pretty significant upgrade with his captain effect reaching a 4.5, I still don't think he is 2020 worthy in terms of his captain effect. It would be really cool if he ever gets a limit break expansion where, you know, his base multiplier, which is a 3 times boost, if that gets buffed to like a 3.5 or a 3.75, that would be really nice, honestly. Just having to hit good, great, perfect just absolutely sucks. But honestly, the thing that I would love to see a brand new Legend Garp, like a V2 Garp, or, you know, even like a dual Garp and Sengoku, or with the new Versus mechanic that's out on GP. Like, I wouldn't say it's that far of a stretch to have a Garp versus Roger character, or a Garp versus Chinjiao. I don't know, there's lots of different options I could go with for Garp, but you know, Garp is one of the most powerful characters in the whole series, and I feel like he's kind of underrepresented, and that's the same with Sengoku as well, dude. Like, Sengoku is severely underrepresented in the game, so it would be nice if we got, you know, another Sugo Fest exclusive of him sometime in the future. But you can see with this team as well, just to go over it once again, we do have Coliseum Komurosaki to enable us to remove the threshold and also make sure that our certain characters have matching slots. We have Zoro Sanji for the 2.75 times attack boost to themselves, and remember, you can't use an orb boost against Jack, so we have the Snake Man to carry an orb boost into that stage, Perospero for color affinity, and also the special cooldown reduction on the final stage, so that allows us Doflamingo to get his overkill damage. And of course, we did use Garp against Jack for a 3.25 times chain lock, so all of this in tandem just works so well together to give us that about 20 million overkill damage, which obviously King has 40 million HP, but it's not enough, unfortunately. Like, we do need to do some normal attacks, but it's fine. And the final clip that I have for you guys in this video today is against one of the Garp challenges, which, I mean, coincidentally, you know, it's a Garp challenge. We're going to be using Garp. So I wanted to go ahead and challenge the most difficult one, and in my personal opinion, I still think out of all of the 10-star difficulty challenges, I do think Doflamingo is the most difficult, because there are a lot of things that are literally out of your control that can just end your run, namely stage 4, you know, the one where you have the 6 enemies. That does kind of suck, and the debuffs are really annoying on the Doflamingo stage, having like 4 turns of despair on 2 separate stages, 3 turns of paralysis on 2 separate stages, and then there's also that one stage with Rebecca that has defense up. Like, there's actually a lot more gimmicks that you have to get around in this stage here with Doflamingo number 1 compared to Revolutionary number 1 or the Whitebeard challenge. And we are using a Stampede Luffy friend captain because he has that amazing utility captain effect where we can remove the 10 turns of despair and paralysis, so we don't even have to bring a character to remove despair or paralysis, which opens up more spaces on our crew, which is nice because Garp overall doesn't really provide too much for our team. I mean, like, the health cut and the chain lock is really nice. It means that, you know, for that one turn, the chain is going to be, you know, fixed at 3.25, which is obviously awesome, right? But it's not going to be able to give us matching orbs. It's not going to be able to kill, like, AoE damage, for example, and that's another reason why Stampede Luffy really helps out Garp here, because that stage with Treble, you know, you got those characters at the back that have semi-high defense, and Stampede Luffy special is able to just completely destroy them. And on this team as well, we are using V2 Katakuri. I feel like it's been forever since I've used V2 Katakuri. I mean, I did use him in one of my teams for the Coliseum King, but after looking through things, you know, it's a lot easier to use Coliseum Smoothie rather than V2 Katakuri for the King team. Again, I digress. I just talk about other different things, but it's so awesome to use V2 Katakuri again, and we are using the support of version 1 Shanks attached to him, because whenever you have a character that does damage or health cut, then the effect activates where it makes all type slots on your Psy characters become Psy Orbs, which is so good. We've also got Mihawk and Perona, which is another character that I haven't used too much recently. They're really great for their amazing switch effect, which helps us stall a lot on the on this stage right here, as you guys are seeing, because we do take a little bit of damage, and it's nice just to get some of that back. Plus, when you have the switch effect, you are reducing their attack by 20%, so it enables you to just take less damage and you heal back, which is great. And we are running Hold'em, which is another rare recruit that I haven't used in a really long time, but he is an exceptional unit on this stage, because we can use it on the next stage after this, which is against Bato, because he has the barrier, which is super annoying, so we can just go ahead and use the special ability of Hold'em to remove 3 turns of barrier, gives us a 2.5 chain lock. I actually did have Buggy as a support attached to Hold'em, so that when we launch his special, he gets a 2.5 or 2 times attack boost, but unfortunately the thing is we don't have a matching orb, so it doesn't really do that much damage, unfortunately. If he had a matching orb, and would have been a lot easier for this stage, but you know, it wasn't really a problem at all. And then everything is basically done from there. When we reach the final stage, we can activate all of our health cuts, then use V2 Katakuri, and then with tap timing bonus damage is GG. So it's nice that you know, even against, you know, the most difficult of the 10-star challenges, you know, Garp is able to just absolutely breeze through. Obviously, we are using a lot of other really powerful units alongside him, but that's what you gotta do, man. That's what you gotta do. But, you know, this is able to clear off one of those Chop Man missions where you need an all-side team versus the 10-star difficulty Garp challenge, and gets the job done. But overall, I think Garp is a pretty interesting character, and as I said, I do think he's going to be seeing more play as a crewmate compared to as a captain. But if you do have to use him as a captain, then, you know, there are a couple of different things that you could do there. Remember, he's a rainbow captain, so you can literally run whatever you want, as long as you are bringing the right characters to get around the gimmicks of the fight, basically, as most rainbow units would be. But that is going to conclude the video, guys. Also, massive shout out to Daniel Gaming and Unhail Scott for allowing me to use their friend captain Stampede Luffy, because they just did not show up. So shout out to those guys in my Discord server for allowing me to use their friend captain Stampede Luffy. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
最近パワーが落ちていかんわい。